So when I was 10, I was burnt by a seizure medication, and I was in the hospital for 63 days and in a coma for 17, I think. Don't really remember a lot. So.
When she burnt, she was medevaced. We were stationed in Turkey at the time. She was medevaced from Turkey to Landstuhl, Germany. They quickly recognized that she far exceeded their medical capabilities there. So they found the University of Heidelberg in Mannheim, Germany, that could take her. They were brilliant. We could not have been at a better place. They introduced many drugs and techniques that were not common here in the United States that we believe that saved her life. We ultimately became stationed here in San Antonio so she can pursue more advancements than what they had for us overseas. Before our daughter had burnt, she was very active. We lived in Guam for 4 years. That's when she reached that age of physical activity. She started swimming. She was a brilliant swimmer, and she was very athletic. She played basketball, and she was the only girl in the league. She was very physical and enjoyed it.
She also had a modeling career with Animaniacs. Through Warner Brothers, she modeled clothing for them for a few years while we were overseas.
After she burned, all that came to a halt. You know, she burned 60% internally, 90% external. And all that contribution affected her ability to sweat. It sparked off pretty excruciating migraines because of heat retention and unable to radiate her heat properly.
When Lizzie was burnt, everything changed. Our life changed, her life changed, and the sports that she once loved, she couldn't participate in anymore. We would get a call from the school nurse that we would have to go pick her up. She had overheated, we'd have to come and take her home. She'd be out for a couple of days. She was also in the marching band. She played flute. She was an awesome flute player. But they started to march outside in the summer, and the clothing was wool, so that kind of wrote her out of that program.
Now I don't do any sports because my pores closed shut when I got burnt, and so I have heat retention, so I don't do any of that anymore. And now I like to just hang out with family and friends and anything that really doesn't cause me to be in the sun too much.
It was very sad for her in high school. That was meant to be a bonding time between her and her girlfriends, doing sports together. She would have to go to the library while all of her friends were doing sports. She would go to the library and make up work or do homework or just sit and read a book, and that became a favorite of hers. She had always been a reader, but now she reads even more. It changed a lot after her burn. We were introduced to the laser. And at that point, it was solely up to Lizzie. We would always ask Lizzie, if you don't want this done, you don't have to have it done. Dr. Hivner had showed us pictures of people before and after the laser treatments, and we decided to give it a go.
To be honest, I was a little nervous because, of how I looked, and then I wasn't sure if it was gonna make it worse. But then once he was telling me and what it can do and showing me other pictures of other people from before and after, I actually was a little excited about it because it would make me look a lot better or make the scarring look a lot better than it was. So I was a little nervous, but I was really excited as well. I had to wear a compression garment for a few years, and then that's when we discovered the laser, and I have had about 33 of those already. It hurts when you come out because it feels like you have an iron on your skin for like maybe an hour. You have to have a lot of patience for the laser to actually see results, but it's all worth it in the end.
It's a long recovery, it's painful. We see her when she comes out of surgery, and it's not a pretty sight. There's a lot of blood everywhere, but she is given like an ointment to rub on that also. She'll take a couple of painkillers after, nothing heavy. The redness goes away within maybe a week, and then we wait maybe 2 to 3 months before she has another procedure. And that's just so that they can start seeing the benefits from the laser also.
Before large areas, I had like small areas done. So I'd have maybe just on my calves, and then or certain amounts done on my thigh. And that would take like a week or maybe longer to recover. But now that I have large areas, and my recovery time is a lot shorter than it was before. So I'm like up walking around within like 2 or 3 days. So recovery time is a lot faster than the other ones were. For changes right after you have the surgery, you don't see results until maybe for 6 months. So it's not like huge results, but it's enough to actually see like it looks smoother or feels different. And so you see quite a bit of change before you see like the whole full result of it.
After the first treatment, the areas that had been raised were now smoother. Not to just feel, but to look at too. You could see that the areas that were raised that she had on her arms and legs mostly had gone down considerably. Her right thigh was the biggest degree of burn on with the raising, and that is now flat. That was very raised before. Now it's very, very smooth. She still has scarring there. That will always be there. But just the texture of it, the feel of it is just so much different, and it's very noticeable, very noticeable.
Sometimes I do feel like it does look bad, but then that's me seeing it. So, but really it does look a lot better than what it did before. Definitely
been worth it. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. The stuff that this laser does, the difference we see from the before and after, I mean, it's just amazing, amazing.
Well, it's really a great laser. It actually, just makes your scarring look a whole lot better than it is, and it smooths it out, and it's really great.
She had had many lasers used on her before, and none of them worked as well as this one by leaps and bounds. Her recovery time was cut by either half or greater. The area that they could cover was far larger than what they could ever do before. And it's cut the projected procedures by over 2/3. And it's a miracle that this technology can also encourage hair growth. Her once fused shut pores are reopened and are actually once dormant, what appeared to be dormant sweat glands, she's now sweating again. So her actual physical participation, which was supposed to have been non-existent, is far better than we ever aspired it to be. She's, jogging, she's exercising, of course with limitations, but where she's at now, it's something we didn't even dream of it happening.
After everything happened with Lizzie, we went on a cruise, and we thought this would help in her recovery. And it was the worst thing we could have ever done. She saw all these girls in bikinis swimming and everything, and she couldn't. And she cried. She wanted to go home. Never wanted to go on a cruise again, not with how her skin looked. And it was devastating for our family, because it was like we could never find anything that could make Lizzie feel better. Now, after all the lasers, Lizzie's outlook on life was so much better, making it a lot better for all the members around her too, family members. Lizzie had a lot of therapy. She did not feel good about herself at all. She had very, very low self-esteem. She always thought that everybody else looked prettier than her, and she would even look at her sisters different. It was very hard for her sisters to say the right thing to her, and they would keep covered up as well. Lizzie didn't want any pictures of herself in the house of how she looked before. Now, Lizzie's the first one to say, take a picture of me, you know. She loves a picture taken now.
It's transformed her life and also everybody who cares and loves her. Her brother, her sisters, she now plays with them where she didn't before. She engages in physical activity, and that wasn't possible. Her range of motion is a lot better than what it used to be. I can literally say that what appeared to have been a very restrictive life is no longer. And she's attaining, you know, her dreams once again, where it seemed like she would have to choose others.
I was able to go to prom, and I wore a strapless dress, which before I wouldn't even wear one. And it was actually a lot of fun. It was a great time. And yeah.
For her to go to the prom and do all these other things with her friends that she should have been doing, for a parent, that's all we could have asked for, was for her happiness, and that's what this laser has done for her and us.
It is our daughter that's going through the direct experience, but the rest of the family also endures the hardships involved to witness your daughter, you know, go through this. You have all sorts of emotions and desperation and nowhere to turn at times. And you're very uncertain of what your future is going to hold. Your aspirations and expectations you had and your dreams for your child, and this technology has made all of that possible once again. We are excited, we're ecstatic, over the moon for her future once again. It's given her hope and confidence that she needs to go out, and she's going to be a sonographer. That's what her current aspirations are for, is to work with burn patients, to work with kids as well. And she has all this life once again, because when you look far better than you ever expected you would, it does extraordinary things, even for your mental health. This technology ends up giving you rewards by using it far beyond the physical. It really transforms you mentally and emotionally, and your aspirations are far greater than what they actually were once before. So it's given us nothing but hope.